What's up, guys? Samyra Ashanti here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. Make sure y'all join the family, join the game by hitting that red subscribe button, and also make sure I hit that post notification bell because you do not want to miss what your girl got cooking up next. Okay. For today's video, I am going to show you guys how to cook some sirloin steak, a loaded baked potato, and I'm also going to be doing broccoli with it as well. So if you guys are interested in what I'm cooking up today, make sure you guys share with a friend, join the family, join the gang. And now let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, as y'all can see here, I'm just washing up my hands so we can go ahead and get started. Alright, y'all, after washing those hands, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys all the ingredients that we're going to be using for today's video. Alright, y'all, can't forget your butter. And then you're going to need some garlic powder and some onion powder. Then you're going to need some chicken base. And along with that, some beef base as well. Then we're going to need some ground black pepper, some parsley flakes, Italian dressing, and Colby Jack cheese, or really any kind of shredded cheese is fine. And then we have some bacon bits. Then we have a bag of potatoes, our broccoli, and of course our steak. And that steak is expensive, honey. Alright, y'all, so now we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually take some potatoes out of the bag like how I'm doing here. And then we're going to put them underneath some water just to rinse and clean them off. When you're done rinsing the potatoes, you want to place them into a pot, kind of like how I have here. And then you're going to place that pot right underneath that water and fill it up to where your water is right above your potatoes. Alright, after filling up that pot with water, you're just going to walk it over to the stove, place it on the eye. And then now you're just going to turn it to where it's put on high so it can come to a boil. Alright, after putting those potatoes on, we're going to get started on our expensive steak. Because 4 sirloin steaks for like, what, I think it was $16, $17. Like, I'm telling y'all, these prices are like going through the roof these days. But, anywho, me personally, I like to season my steak or really any meat that I have in my sink. So I'm just going to go ahead and just place them in there so we can go ahead and get them prepped and ready to go. Now, before I season the steak, I am just going to go ahead and pick them up individually and just wash them off with some water. After washing off those steaks, we are going to go ahead and start with seasoning. Here, as you can see, I'm going to start off with some garlic powder. Alright, after using that garlic powder, I'm just going to use some onion powder. And that next seasoning is going to be some beef base. After using that garlic powder, onion powder, and beef base, I am gonna just rub it all in place, rub all those seasonings together, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that individually for each one. After rubbing those seasonings in place, I am gonna go ahead and just flip each one of those pieces over, kind of like how I'm doing here. And after flipping all of those pieces over, I'm going to use those same exact seasonings. So the garlic powder, the onion powder, and the beef base. And I'm just going to basically just do the same thing I just did, season them all over again, just on the other side. Alright, just as like a fair warning, my camera does start to drop here, but it will be readjusted. But I'm doing the same thing here, just putting all of those seasonings like on the other side. And as you can see, boom, we just readjusted it. So now we're just rubbing it all in place like how we just did from before. And then after rubbing them all in place, we're just gonna mix everything around, make sure they're all seasoned and everything. And yeah. Now tell me that ain't seasoned. That thing is looking good, ready to go. Check it back in on those potatoes. Usually I let mine come to a boil for a good 20 to 30 minutes. But now we're going to go ahead and just preheat our oven to 350 for our steak. While we just go ahead and just finish up the finishing touches on it, you know, all that. Alright, as y'all can see, I just went ahead and placed those steaks into a pan. And now it's time for the very important part, cleaning up as you go. Here I'm just spraying down the sink, bleaching it down, making sure it's sanitized and, you know, ready to go for when I have to use it at a later time. And yeah. Alright y'all, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab a full stick of butter and chop off little pieces kind of about that size, and just basically do that for the whole stick of butter, just placing those pieces on top of the steak. Alright y'all, for our next step is actually going to be to grab the Italian dressing, and we're going to use this as a marinade for our steak. Alright, and the last step for our steaks is going to be adding some parsley flakes, just to add some razzle dazzle and a pop of color. And just like that, our sirloin steaks are seasoned and ready to go. Alright, so now we're just going to throw some foil on top of that pan. Alright, and now we can go ahead and just throw that steak right into the oven. Alright, y'all, so checking back in on those potatoes, usually I like to take a fork and just poke them. If it's too hard to poke or if they don't go in as smoothly, that typically means that they're not done yet. So we're just going to keep letting those come to a boil. Alright, y'all, last but not least, we got our broccoli. Gotta have the broccoli, gotta have a vegetable. So we can go ahead and get this thing going. I'm gonna go ahead and pour some into my little pink pot that I got there. And we're just gonna go ahead and start to season these up. However, before I season them, of course, I throw a little bit of water in there. Not a lot, a little bit, because I don't want them to be, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and take our onion powder and just throw that in there. And then in addition to onion powder, we're also gonna be using garlic powder. Alright, then after that garlic powder, we're just going to use some salt. And after salt, we're going to use some black pepper. Alright, and this last seasoning is very important. gotta have your chicken base. I'm telling y'all, chicken base and beef base, that's what give everything its flavor. You can use a little bit, you can use a lot, but you gonna need this seasoning. All right, so now we just gonna go ahead and take a spoon, mix all those seasonings together, and then after mixing up all those seasonings, we are gonna use some butter, because everybody say butter make it taste better. Okay, put half a stick in there. It's really your preference, you know. And we just gonna go ahead and walk over here, put it on the eye, and then we gotta have it come to a boil. So we just gonna go ahead and turn the knob on high. Ooh, wait! As y'all can see, it's starting to come to a boil, and then look at that, busting out the skin, ready to go. This is how your potatoes are supposed to look when they done boiling. Okay. All right, y'all, so typically I put my steaks in there for an hour. So I went ahead, took them out, and checked on them, and as y'all can see, it should look a little something like this right here. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and take that pan and pour off a little bit of the juice. Not all of it, y'all, not all of it, just some. Okay, just some. And before we put our steaks back in the oven, I'm just going to take some A1 sauce. And I'm just going to, let me not say drown, but like, you know, a little drizzle. You know what I'm saying? Just drizzle a little bit of that A1 sauce right on top before you throw it back in the oven. After drizzling some of that A1 sauce on there, I'm going to just put it back in the oven for about maybe 10 to 15 more minutes. All right, y'all, while we wait for this steak to get done, we're gonna go ahead and start working on our loaded baked potato. We're gonna need some butter, some salt, some black pepper, our parsley flakes, our bacon pieces, and then it's not out right now, but we're gonna be needing our Colby Jack shredded cheese. But as y'all can see here, I am just taking a fork and I am just mashing that potato down its center so we can go ahead and start putting our stuff into our potato. All right, after doing that, we are just going to take some butter and we're just going to chop a little piece off like so, and we're just going to place that right in the center, as y'all can see. Then after our butter, we are going to take some salt and just sprinkle that right on top of there. And after the salt, you're going to use your black pepper. After the black pepper, we're gonna go ahead and just open up a pack of the bacon pieces that we have. And we're just gonna open those up and we're just gonna sprinkle some of those right on the top. All right, this next part, go crazy, bro. Literally go crazy, bro. You gotta get into your shredded cheese. Okay, me personally, I don't really like too much cheese, but you know, we gonna put some on there, you know what I'm saying? So we just gonna sprinkle the cheese right there on top of the bacon. Same thing for the thing that we did with the steak. We're gonna pick up our parsley flakes and use it just as like for like a little razzle dazzle, you know what I'm saying? Just for like looks, presentation. And boom, we're gonna go ahead and pop that in the microwave. And as y'all can see, look at that. Look at that. All right, y'all, so now it is time to dress up the rest of the plate. As y'all can see, I am just throwing my steamed broccoli right there on the plate. And then I am going to throw, not the parsley falling over, but I am going to throw some salt and a little bit of pepper on my broccoli as well. After that salt and pepper, I want y'all to look at this steak. Like, look at how this steak look after I added the A1 steak sauce. Like, come on now. Matter of fact, look at it up close and personal. Like, Bow. Like, y'all see this? Do y'all see this? Look at the presentation. Look at the presentation. Like, y'all let me know down below in the comment section. Let me know what y'all rate this plate. Because me personally, I'd give myself a 10 out of 10. And for the grand finale, broccoli, 10 out of 10. Get into the loaded baked potato. Y'all see how that cheese separated? Lord have mercy. 10 out of 10. And getting into this steak, can I get a drum roll, please? Bam, had to dance on y'all. That steak was so good. Y'all try this food. Let me know how it tastes. I love y'all. I'll go ahead and see y'all in the next one. Bye.